Welcome. We will get our lesson started in a seated position. So instead of resting hands on your knees, straighten your arms. You can just get the index fingers and thumbs to touch. So straight arms, shoulders still relaxed, and close your eyes. Imagine that you sit up against a wall and you've got a nice elongated spine, even the back of your head in line with the rest of your spine. Without forcing, start to deepen your inhales and exhales. Keep your breath nice and controlled throughout the session and slowly open your eyes. You want to keep the sort of calm state throughout the entire class. That's the goal. Let's walk hands forwards into a little bit of a forward bend. So you simply relax down, bringing your chest and head closer to the floor. Then inhale, lift your head and walk hands over to the right. Exhale, bring your head back down. Just leaning with your chin over your knee. Inhale, head back up, walk the hands over to the opposite side. Exhale, bring it down. Just feeling into the side body. Inhale, come back up, walk hands to center. Place your right forearm down onto the mat. So you want to lean all the way to the one side. Reach with the opposite arm out in front and then over, giving the lats a bit of a stretch. Pull your shoulder closer to your ear and bring it down. Reverse that action, place forearm onto the mat and reach with the opposite arm out to the side. Slowly bring it back. Make your way back up to seated. So as we position into an all fours shape, part your knees, get the big toes to touch and sit back into a child's pose. Bring your arms out in front. Just lengthen through your spine. Now lift your head, get onto your fingertips. Work the base of the spine down to the floor and to the back of the mat. As you walk your fingertips forward slightly, you'll feel the shoulders getting closer to ears, but at the same time, working the tailbone down and arching in the back, you get length through the entire spine. Inhale, make your way back up. Place your elbows onto the mat. Grip hold of the triceps so you don't get the elbows too wide. Now interlace your hands. Squeeze all the fingers firmly together, palms together. Straighten your legs. Lift your hips to ceiling. If this is quite intense, you might want to bend into the knees. If it's not that intense, you can walk your feet a bit closer to the elbows, but push your chest to the back of the mat and push out of your shoulders. Nice way to strengthen in the shoulders a bit. Keep the breath nice and deep. Then slowly bend your knees. Bring your knees back down and make your way back up onto all fours. From the all fours position, bring chest and chin down and then relax onto the mat. Place elbows below the shoulders. Hands firmly on the floor. If you ever wake up in the morning and you feel a bit of discomfort in the lower back, this is a good position to get into. Extending the spine. If this is not too intense on the back, I suggest that you come up, straightening the arms. We can most definitely walk the hands closer, but it's optional. So find a position where You feel the pelvis pushing firmly into the floor, the chest lifting nicely, arms being straight, unless you have the elbows touching, and you breathe in this position. The shoulders shouldn't get closer to the ears. If anything, you naturally draw the shoulders down and you hold it there. Exhale very slowly, lower the chest all the way down onto the floor. Place both hands underneath the body, palms facing down. And as you do that, lift both legs. Maybe it's really challenging for you to lift up, then I suggest you turn your arms facing the other way. So then you get the tops of the hands to rest on the mat. Squeeze your glutes, maintain a bit of activation, and exhale, slowly bring it down. Place both hands below the shoulders. Tuck your elbows, draw the shoulders away from ears. Bend your knees, point with the toes, and pull your heels closer to your glutes. Now with an in-breath, push into the hands, raise your chest. So you might just feel a little bit more activation in the middle back as opposed to the lower back. Holding, breathing. Exhale, bring it back down, tuck your toes, pushing back into a downward facing dog. Inhale, raise your left leg. Exhale, squeeze knee into chest and place the leg onto the mat. So we want to get the front leg more or less to 90. If it's too challenging, the heel might slide in closer to the body, which is fine. Walk your back knee further back, simply to get the groin closer to the floor. And if you can, come down onto the forearms. If it's not possible, stay up on the hands. You hold this pigeon stretch. Eventually, we relax down onto the floor with the arms stretched out in front. The breath is even, it's deep. The mind and the body is calm, even though we're doing a stretch that can be quite challenging. Just another 20 seconds or so. So in order to get out of this one, you want to make your way back up onto the hands first and then sit to the side. If you didn't have your front leg at 90, now's the time to adjust the front leg into a 90-degree angle. Take your back leg all the way over to the front. See if there's a way for you to stack your legs. Now, if there's a gap, if you can't close the gap, stay in this upright position. Place a hand onto the knee. If this is quite comfortable, you can relax into a bit of a forward bend. But that's not always the case with students. So if you're sitting up here, keep your hand on your knee and simply let the body get used to this external rotation in both hips. We're not holding it for too long. Both feet flexed to keep the legs active. If you're on your forward bend, work on getting your sit bones firmly onto the floor as you reach forwards. You don't want weight to lift off the sit bones as you lean forwards. Wherever you are in this position, slowly make your way back up. Then we take this top leg, lift the knee, take your leg back, place hands onto the mat, and let's step it all the way back into a downward facing dog as you walk it out. Bending one knee, opposite knee, just feeling into the body. Back into a normal down dog. On inhale, raise your right leg. Exhale, knee to chest, and then place your leg onto the mat. Place back knee down. If the heel slides in a little bit, it's not a problem. Walk your back knee closer to the floor. Take an in-breath. Exhale, perhaps you stay here, or you come down onto the forearms. You also have the option of stretching the arms out and resting chest onto the floor. Giving the opposite side a bit of a stretch. Usually I'm very focused on keeping the front leg at 90. But if it's not at 90 and you're still getting a nice stretch in the hip area, you can most definitely hold that position. You'll find that if you arch in your back, the stretch will instantly intensify. Sort of feel with your own body awareness what you can do to get the most out of the stretch. Maybe as we hold it now for a little while, you might want to go a little bit deeper. Your body gets used to the position and it will allow you to maybe just go a little bit deeper. You can bring your hands back onto the mat, make your way up, sit to the side, then slide your front leg to a 90 degree if it wasn't at 90. Take your top leg over, stack your legs as well as you can, and once again, maybe you stay in an upright position, maybe it's a forward bend, you decide what works for your body. Just keep your feet flexed and hold. It's not posture we're holding too long. And just breathe as we give the hips a bit of attention. You never want to overstretch. You don't want to feel pain in your knee joints or the ankles. You handle your body with care. The yoga will do its work, but you do get the body in a lot of different shapes and positions. Wherever you are in this double pigeon, you can firstly make your way up. You take the top leg, lift the knee, carefully take your leg back, place your hands onto the floor, and step it back into a down dog. It's not a race to get to down dog, so take your time, and once you get to a down dog, walk it out. We've got another hip stretch to go. Maybe a bit more groin and adductors, but still hip opening. So from the down dog, place your knees onto the mat. You might want to stay on the mat, so I like to turn to the side. And you part knees, get the knees apart, but keep your knees aligned. At the same time, keep your heels in line with your knees. So that is more or less the shape that we're going for. And then you come down onto the forearms, and you'll find that if you push the hips back a bit, the stretch might intensify. Should you take the hips forwards, it's not as intense. So find a position that's quite good for you to hold, and then we stay here for 1.5 minutes. Just a few longer little stretches to work into the hips. And we've got about 30 seconds to go. In order to get out of our stretch, you want to first come up onto your hands. Make sure you've got weight on the hands, and then gently walk the knees closer together and get into a seated position. So as you get to seated, you can straighten both legs, flex your feet, take a deep inhale. On exhale, lean forwards, grip hold of your ankles. Keep your feet flexed. That'll be your focal point. Another halfway lift on inhale, and exhale, actively pull your chest a bit closer to your legs. Maybe you just get a little bit of a bend in the arms. Maybe straight arms is pretty much your limit, and then you hold it there. But the idea is to arch in the back, hinge in the hips, and pulling your chin closer to your feet. Feel the core activation. You're drawing navel towards spine. You're not over-activating, but you're pulling navel to spine in order to keep your entire midsection nice and active to facilitate this forward folding motion. Inhale, straighten your arms, lift your chest. Exhale, release. Now we're going to lie back onto the mat, but you'll bring the right knee into your chest. So the right knee pulls all the way in. Wrap your right arm over the knee, and it's almost as if you pull your knee into your armpit. Now flex both feet. Feel the activation in the quad and the calves the minute you flex. Hold it here. Grab hold of your foot with the left hand. Pull the foot towards the left shoulder. Lift your shoulders. See if you can place your foot into the bicep, wrapping opposite arm around. If this is too much, you most definitely can just hold onto the knee and hold onto the foot and actively pull your leg closer. But it's similar to our pigeon pose that we did. Maybe you get to interlace and bring your shoulders and head down onto the mat. If that's not possible, you just keep it up. And we simply just actively working the leg a bit closer to chest. I like doing this reclined pigeon pose because the back is forced to stay straight. Then very slowly bring it back down. Release the leg, but grip hold onto the outside of the right foot with the right hand. Lift your foot up to ceiling and actively pull your knee closer to the floor. So it's like a happy baby, but we're just doing the one side. Keep your hips square. And then slowly release, take the right leg down. Keep the right foot flexed. Bring your left knee up. Wrap your left arm around the knee, and you actively pull knee towards your armpit. We will be doing a similar reclined pigeon stretch. So let go of the knee, grip hold of your foot, bring your foot into the bicep, wrap opposite arm around. You have your option if this is not accessible, and you hold that position. So feel into your leg, see what the range of motion is like. You might find a little bit of a discrepancy between the left and the right side. Just accept it, just be aware of it. And that's where we build on our practice. And you can slowly release your leg, grip hold to the outside of the foot with the left hand, lift the foot up to ceiling and pull your knee down towards the floor. That same happy baby shape, but just with the one leg. And you can let it go. Straighten the left leg first, and then step both feet onto the mat. As you get feet onto the mat, walk your feet mat width apart. Take your arms out to the sides. Drop your knees over to the left. Take it back up, drop it to the right. And just keep moving your legs. Bring it back to center. Get the inner knees to touch. If it's possible, walk the feet further apart. So you keep the inner knees together, feet out to the sides. Part your knees, walk your feet onto the mat. Get soles of the feet together, knees out to the sides. Don't fight with the posture. Allow your knees to be heavy. And you can slowly bring your knees back together. Take knees into your chest. Hug knees in. Gently moving from side to side. And you can now grab hold behind the backs of the knees. Make your way up into a seated position. We will finish with a bit of breathing or specific breathing exercise, and then corpse pose. So in your upright seated position, as you sit up nice and tall, the idea is simply to take an inhale on the count of 4, exhale for twice as long. So if you struggle to do an exhale on the count of 8, do inhale count of 3, exhale count of 6. I like to restrict the throat a little bit, doing that ujjayi sensation. Not the strongest ujjayi, but it's a nice way to regulate the airflow. So you sit up tall, you can close your eyes. I'll count the first 2 or so cycles, and then you will count yourself. It's a nice way to even keep the mind occupied or focused in one direction. So you can take an inhale, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Exhale, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, 6, and 7, and 8. Full inhale, 1, and 2, and 3, and 4. Exhale, 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, and 7, and 8. Just continue. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Just keep going. Now put the controlled breathing aside. Just allow your breath to be natural. Notice what the body feels like after the practice. How you feel mentally. You have the option to simply stay in this upright position and to allow the breath to be natural, or you can lie down into your corpse pose. Whichever way, stay in the position for as long as you want until you are ready to carry on with your day.